Well, hello, Harmony, and all other guests that sneak in to Fireside Chat number 14. And actually, final for the summer. Some of you may be disappointed. We will renegotiate whether we'll pick it up in the fall again. But some of you may know that things are shifting here. If you're a Harmonyite, you know that Pastor Hawco is going to be stepping out on a sabbatical and leaving the assembly in the very able hands of our pastoral staff and elders, who will do a great job as they've already been doing. Yes, a sabbatical. I've been at Harmony for 7 full years plus. I'm a little weary. Also, I've been with the company for 44 years, and so I'm about due again. So, just a little insight. It is a defining moment today. You'll notice summer's here, no fire in the fireplace, yuck, yuck. But also, today I'm going to put out the candle that started up in the Albany area, that little hope beacon, because we have tangible, beyond hope now. Re-entry is starting to happen. It's happening at Harmony as well, and we may actually be in our building before the month's out for a service together. So we can turn out the candles. Besides, you've probably wasted a lot of wax by now if you used real ones, which most of you didn't. After all, 2020 has certainly been an adventure, right? I'm looking at a cartoon that was in our paper, and one of our sisters in the church said to me the other day, "Oh, 2020, the year that keeps on giving." And boy, does it give it to us. These people are worn out. They're sitting at their breakfast table, and the wife says, 2020 has been such a long year. Isn't it hard to believe it's the end of June already? Half the year's over, and it has been strenuous. It's so exhausted, she says. What day is it anyway? And her husband, reading the paper, says, June 54th. And that's about how we're starting to feel with some of this going on and on and on. Lord, have mercy. And I hope He does soon. Last week, actually in New York, He has had mercy. Our governor's pressure on us has actually paid off. We have to give him that, and it's really been good. So we're doing a lot better. Last week, I preached at my very first drive-in service for my life. That was a first. They've done them before, even years back. My wife had been to them at her home church. It was an opportunity to outreach to the neighborhoods. But this was my first, and it was fun. We had a good time. We had to substitute honking for amens. But it worked, and we had a great time together. However, it's not as fun as being in the room together, so I am missing that just like you guys. And the new normal for us these days has gotten very challenging. Have you noticed how much fatigue there is? Most of us are just plain tired of the whole thing. But here's a few fatigues. Social distancing fatigue. Yeah, that's easy for me to say. Social distancing fatigue became a thing. I thought about Zoom fatigue. I think we've gotten tired of it. Teachers' Google Class fatigue. And even bizarre graduation fatigue, whatever that might be. Everything's crazy. I'm thinking into the future of this summer. We're still wondering what's going to happen. We'll probably have questionable vacation fatigue. I made all of those up, but you know, one of them at least was for real. You know, the problem of being in isolation so long has been catching up on people. I find one of the funniest cartoons in the paper is Dilbert. He was the great successor to the first position, if you will, ever since The Fireside by Gary Larson stopped being produced. And Dilbert usually has something quite entertaining to say. So one of them is talking, in a minute I'll talk about bad thinking, because that's my theme today. But let me just mention this issue of fatigue and being separated from everybody. It says in the first panel, Dogbert is on the scene, and you know he's a little mischievous imp. Welcome to Dogbert's corporate safety training. Don't touch anything, don't move around, don't talk to anyone ever. And then he says, thanks for coming. And Dilbert asks, that's the whole class? And he says, don't blame me for being good at summarizing. And that really is about it, right? Total isolation. It's really kind of getting to us at this point. We'll be glad that it starts to loosen up. But there were two more Dilberts that I cut out a while back when we were trying to encourage everybody to, do I dare use the word, be submissive to authorities and try to practice safety toward one another. Even if you're totally confident that you're healthy, everybody else isn't sure. And so we were wearing masks and when necessary using gloves and keeping distance and all of that. And people would often argue. So one of the Dilberts has Dilbert speaking with his pointy hair boss, who we all know is kind of a dolt. And that's the point. No face mask, he asks? And the boss says, I have antibodies for the virus. I'm pretty sure I had the virus last January when I had a throat tickle. Dilbert says, I wonder why virus tests exist when we can just ask people if they had it. And the pointy-haired boss says, I was wondering the same. Yeah, so there you go. Here's another one, like unto it, if you will. Why is everyone, this by the way is the CEO, why is everyone so panicked about coronavirus when maybe only 1% who get it will actually die? And Catbert is counseling him and says 1% of the population of Earth would be 77 million dead. The CEO says, yes, but the whole world won't get it. And Catbert responds, well, they will if they listen to you. I don't know, I thought that was funny because it should be self-evident, yet apparently it's not for everyone. And I'm not telling you what you need to think or believe. People can hold to whatever positions they want, but we really need to be careful when people are listening to us that we don't tell them the wrong thing. So last time I shared at our Fireside how we should talk with one another, how to be respectful and kind and not discounting or dismissive of other people. Listen to their view, understand, try to understand so that you're not reacting, and to be gracious, even if you have to strongly disagree and present your view, because you would like them to do the same. Nobody likes to be yelled at, called down, told they're stupid, or anything else. This time, I want to talk about not how you say it, but what you actually say. Of course, emotional intelligence teaches us that more of what we communicate is about how. How we communicate changes everything. But what we're saying matters as well. Let me just say this. Words have meaning. Even though we try to throw that out all the time, they do have meaning, and ideas have power. So I think it's really important for Christians who want to honor God, who is the God of truth, who always tells the truth, and His view of reality is the right one. It's really appropriate that we get the right ideas and the right powerful words, that we take a good look at our own presuppositions just to question occasionally, am I completely right on this idea, especially today? Today, I've been watching society for a long time. I mentioned earlier, it's been 40 plus years that I've been in ministry, and I've watched society. Some people think we're evolving in a positive direction. I have an opinion that you might disagree with. I don't think so. I see very strange things occurring. Things that 30 years ago were completely considered immoral or maybe questionable mentally. Questionable, as in maybe it's mental illness. Now we're normalizing all of it. And anybody who would push back on the old mores is the one who's an idiot, if you will. Something has broken. And our society really today does very little in-depth investigation, study, digging, or thinking for themselves. We basically feed our minds with sound bites, Facebook, internet trash, and celebrities. Let me just push on this. Almost all of those, if I may, not all, but most of them are completely worthless. Better to go dig out original sources and find out what is actually going on. My wife and I remember an interview, we're pretty sure it was when Harrison Ford was rising to popularity. And somebody was asking him, I think his political views, I don't remember the exact details, but he pushed back and said, why do you want my opinion? I get paid to make believe for a living. Why would my opinion matter more than anybody else's? And you know what? He's absolutely right. But today, because I have a platform, because I can shoot hoops, or I can hit a baseball, or some other, I can sing and make a lot of money, I become an expert on almost anything, which is totally irrational foolishness. Ask me how I feel about that. Others are doing our thinking for us, and because of that, we're in trouble. I have personally been studying in my own devotionals. I'm halfway through the scripture again, and I'm in the book of Proverbs. I think our youth group's messing with Proverbs right now, which, by the way, is an excellent book to ponder and chew on. And in Proverbs, we are told to seek wisdom and get knowledge. We're told to dig further than where we already are. I hate finding out when I was wrong about something. I've said things from the pulpit that somebody has come back and said, I don't think that's totally accurate, in which case I go back, check it out, and if they're right, I'll apologize to my congregation the next week, because I want the truth, because my God is a God of truth and I want to represent Him well. And you should too, if you're a follower of Jesus. So it's important that we dig and dig and dig. Truth in the world as it really is. Even today, some studies are already founded on a wrong pretense, and so you can't always trust. Dig back to the original sources and find out what really is so. Keep learning. Report the truth. Challenge your own presuppositions. You may be parked on something that's completely erroneous. Here's what Proverbs 1:5 says. I quoted it because I like the New Jerusalem Bible sometimes, the way it puts it. Let the wise listen and learn. Let the wise listen and learn yet more. We're still learning. If you've stopped, can I just say, one of my frustrations as a pastor is Christians who have stopped learning. They already know enough, they think. No, let the wise listen and learn yet more, and a person of discernment will acquire the art of guidance. When you speak and it has an effect on other people, that matters. It should matter to you, should matter for their sake, and it should matter, and it does matter, to God as well. So get wisdom. Keep digging. Keep learning. I hope you guys have a wonderful summer. God bless you, and don't stop learning, and make sure everybody has a great time playing in the sandbox together. God bless you. See you when I get back.